Ms. Swan, the neo-Nazis are a supremacist group, right? I know you talked about your book, but neo-Nazis are a supremacist group.
Public safety.
The question I think that I was asked to come speak to was the rise of hate.
Right.
And the critical...
Anti-Semitism, attacks against Jews, Christians, members of other faiths, it's on the rise. Do you know why there is such fervent resistance, or I would say fervent hatred for traditional viewpoints for Christians?
Because we have a fixed view of marriage, of human sexuality, and that stands in the way of the left's ideological push to transgender our children and to redefine marriage. And so in order to shut us up, knock us off the media, defund us, they have to label us.
Well, do you believe that biblical values are extreme?
I believe that people have the right to have their beliefs, including their interpretations of religion, whatever their religion is.
Is Mr. Perkins' belief in traditional biblical values what brought him to the forefront of the SPLC's hate group map?
Gentleman from North Carolina is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Wiley, I want to talk to you about the Charles Morrell case that you mentioned earlier. You said it happened where?
Boston,
in Boston?
Massachusetts. Yes, sir.
And he was attacked by whom?
The Patriot Front.
The Patriot Front. The SPLC did not give the Patriot Front any money, is that correct?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
And how was he attacked? And pardon me, I'm just not familiar with this case.
The Patriot Front was had a march that they were engaged in without a permit, and he was attacked on the street.
Was he killed or just assaulted, or?
I don't know that it matters if we're talking about a hate crime, which is what we're talking about.
I'm just trying to get the details, ma'am, and I'm leading up to this. Would you be willing to condemn the local leaders' efforts to defund the police? Because I agree with you. We should have safe streets.
I'm sorry, I'm not quite...
Will you condemn Boston's local leaders from trying to defund the police? They did that in their recent budget proposal.
I don't live in Boston. What I will say is this was a hate crime.
You think that defunding the police helps or hurts public safety?
The question I think that I was asked to come speak to was the rise of hate and the critical importance of us addressing and protecting civil rights.
Well, you said earlier that you respect Mr. Murrell's right to a free street. So I'm asking you, will you condemn the local leaders' efforts to defund the police?
I will not make any comment about local decisions.
What about Mayor Wu's policy of offering sanctuary to people here illegally, regardless of their criminal history? Will you condemn that?
No.
So it seems like your qualification on public safety is very limited, correct?
No, I'm just
I think it is. I think it is.
Here on a hate crime.
Well, let's talk about the hate crimes. In terms of the neo-Nazis, I actually agree with just about every word that Jerry Nadler said. I'm working on a bill to promote safe places of worship, increase penalties for attacks on worshipers, and neo-Nazism is certainly on the rise. You would agree with that?
I would.
Anti-Semitism, attacks against Jews, Christians, members of other faiths, it's on the rise.
It is.
Do you know why it's on the rise?
Well, I think that's why we've been so concerned about the cuts to grants and programs that are helping us understand the rise, and exactly why we have young men like we saw in San Diego murder 3 men at a mosque.
Are you concerned
at all?
And
while we're concerned about the attacks on the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is also seeking to help us better understand.
Do you find it at all problematic that one of the leading candidates for United States Senate proudly commissioned and displayed a Nazi tattoo on his chest for almost 20 years? Does that concern you?
I don't know who you're referring to. I would only say that anti-Semitism, neo-Nazism, hate always concerns me.
Would you condemn that and that candidate? He's a United States Senate candidate who proudly wore a Nazi tattoo right on his chest.
Well, certainly I don't agree with any support of neo-Nazism.
Now, I'm detecting a little bit of, it seems like, viewpoint and partisan bias from the SPLC. Mr. Perkins, I want to talk to you a little bit about this. Do you know why there is such fervent resistance, or I would say fervent hatred for traditional viewpoints, for Christians, for people like yourself?
I do, because we have a fixed view of marriage, of human sexuality, And that stands in the way of the left's ideological push to transgender our children and to redefine marriage. And so in order to shut us up, knock us off the media, defund us, they have to label us alongside of these racist groups.
Right. Ms. Wiley, do you think that biblical values are extreme?
I don't even understand the question, sir. I'm
Very
sorry.
simple. Do you believe that biblical values are extreme?
I believe that people have the right
Sure.
to have their beliefs, including their interpretations of religion, whatever their religion is.
Is Mr. Perkins' belief in traditional biblical values what brought him to the forefront of the SPLC's hate group map?
I can't speak for the SPLC's
You are
decision.
today.
I am here to speak about hate and bias, and
Do
what
you
I am
think that
here to
belief
say
in biblical
is
values promotes hate and bias?
that is way too broad a question
Well,
to
I'm
answer.
asking
What I'm very clear on is that we have a Constitution that
Sure.
protects First Amendment rights, including freedom of religion. We support that as a civil rights community that includes almost every faith and,
Yep.
and an interfaith alliance.
Well, I know. Let me
frankly,
just stop you there. I know Dr. Swain well. She's a scholar. She's independent. She's very well thought out. Why was she listed as someone to be concerned about?
I'm here because we're talking about hate. I do not engage in the
Is she a hateful
designations.
person?
I don't know her.
You're on behalf of the SPLC.
I'm on behalf of civil rights, the Leadership Conference.
Is she
on Civil and
anti-civil
Human
rights?
I don't know her.
Well, I'm over my time, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, could we just clarify Ms. Wiley's organizational identification? I think there's some confusion here.
Yeah.
I am the president and CEO of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, which is the nation's oldest and largest civil rights coalition of almost 250 national organizations.
Gentleman from Florida is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to go back really quick to the questioning by Ms. Crockett, just because I thought it was actually an easy line of questioning, and I want to give everyone an opportunity just to clarify. Ms. Swan, the neo-Nazis are a supremacist group, right? I know you talked about your book, but neo-Nazis are a supremacist group.
May I define a white supremacist? Because I did a Cambridge University Press book,
Okay.
and when I did my research,
I know, but Ms. Swan, I got to be honest, you're doing what the university professors did with Elise Stefanik,
No, I'm
talking
telling-
about, well, what's the definition of this and what's
No,
it?
I'm giving you a definition
No, but
because you all don't have one.
No, the neo-Nazis are a supremacist group. They believe they're supreme, right? That's why they wanted to put people in camps that they believed were not pure. Neo-Nazis are a supremacist group, right? I mean, this is not a trick question, Ms. Swan. I'm not trying to trip you up in the fact that you're...
I would like to define a white supremacist, and when I did my research, it was white people who believed that because of their race, they were superior to other groups. But the left redefined white supremacists so that it could include any white person in this room,
Ms. Swan, hold
including you
on.
all.
That's a wonderful speech and a filibuster.
No, it's truth.
Are neo-Nazis supremacists?
It depends on which ones. They're individuals.
No, I didn't ask you which ones.
Some of them are plain old
neo-Nazi. Ms. Swan, listen, I'm not reading your book if you literally can't answer this question. Are neo-Nazis supremacists?
They're individuals. Some are, and some may be just plain old anti-Semites.
No. Neo-Nazis are anti-Semites, okay? We're going to agree there.
Right, okay.
But they're also supremacists, Ms. Swan.
Okay, if you agree.
No. You don't have to take my word for it, right? Like, they are. That's the whole reason they exist.
But you all
because
don't
they
seem
believe
to-
they are supreme.
You all don't seem to understand that a white
Who's they all?
supremacist
I'm not a
until you
neo-Nazi.
redefine.
Who's they all? I'm a regular person asking another regular person
Okay.
if we can agree that neo-Nazis are
Okay,
supremacists.
I will agree with you.
Okay, I don't want you to be forced into it.
I would agree with you, but I suggest you all take the time and read my Cambridge University Press book
Listen,
that was nominated
Ms.
for a
Swan,
Pulitzer
listen,
Prize.
Dr. Swan, I can promise you there's no freaking way I'm buying your book. When it took 2 minutes for you to look at me and had to convince you that neo-Nazi, listen.
Because I don't like the talking points. The leftist
This is not a talking point. This is 100 years of history. Watch this. I'm going to show you how easy it is. Mr. Perkins, are neo-Nazis supremacists?
They are supremacists.
Thank you, sir. Mr. O'Neill.
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Swan, that wasn't a trick question for them. I wasn't trying to trip them up. I wasn't using DNC talking points. This is part of the problem. And I didn't even want to do this, quite frankly, because I'm not interested in making this stuff political. Right? I got Democratic candidates in Texas coming out yesterday and saying that Jews belong in concentration camps again. Okay?
terrible.
Like we're in real bad times.
I agree.
And so if we put these hateful conversations in our political box and we do the whataboutism, this is just going to continue to spread hate.
I agree with 100%. We agree.
Right. And that's why we got to be able to at least agree to a simple set of facts that neo-Nazis are supremacists. Right? Okay. We've moved on. We've moved on. You're there.
But you all use white supremacists as a broad statement. It doesn't apply to every white person.
Listen, I didn't say anything other than they're supremacists.
Okay.
And they are.
I apologize to you, sir.
Okay. No, you don't have to apologize to me. I just want you to understand, like, if we can't agree on a simple set of facts, then we can't solve real problems. So, Mr. Chairman, this obviously was a specific topic that you had scheduled a couple weeks ago and invited these witnesses in. But I got to be honest, like the last week, the amount of anti-Semitic messages, voicemails, text messages I have gotten, stuff on my social media, an assassination plot, a couple months ago, someone serving 25 years in jail, and now watching someone running for office trying to join the greatest deliberative body ever created on this planet, who thinks the way forward for America is to look at 1940s Germany. Okay, my grandmother was part of the Kindertransport out of Germany. Her parents died at Auschwitz. My kids are not going to an internment camp, I can assure you. And it's becoming so normalized. It is, we've gone from, there's Americans who donate to elected officials, that are AIPAC, and then it's, okay, Netanyahu, and then it's, okay, maybe we shouldn't support foreign money, and then, okay, now we're gonna call all these people Zionists, and now we're at concentration camps. By the way, we got the concentration camps much faster than I thought we would get, but here we are. And it's real scary. People are scared. People don't want to show their Jewish stars anymore. They're moving into neighborhoods just to be around other Jews because they're concerned. And one of my Republican colleagues, and I know I'm over, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to wrap it up. One of my Republican colleagues asked, do we know why it's spreading? Hate, all sorts of hate, not just anti-Semitism. This is why it's spreading. It's all here. It's really here. Go poll young kids versus seniors. It's a dramatic difference in the amount of hate young kids have versus seniors. This is the difference. You're seeing it in voting patterns. You're seeing it in belief systems. We've let foreign governments and bots just totally weaponize this. No countries can beat us militarily. We're stronger than everyone combined. But they are gotten us fighting amongst ourselves, dividing us at each other's throats. So if you ask me why things are so bad, just spend a couple minutes. Go to my Twitter. Go look at some happy things, like a happy Veterans Day or happy Memorial Day that I posted. And look at the hate I get. It is out of control. So, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate you doing this hearing in general, but hate, real hate, is spreading in this country in ways that my grandparents, they're gone. But I can't imagine if they were alive to see what was going on here. I yield back. Thank you.
Today, I'm breaking down a fiery congressional hearing that touched on some of the most divisive issues in America right now: religious freedom, anti-Semitism, hate groups, public safety, and the growing political divide. What started as a discussion about hate crimes quickly turned into a heated debate over biblical values, free speech, and whether America is doing enough to confront rising extremism. One of the most intense moments came when lawmakers questioned whether traditional Christian beliefs are increasingly being labeled as extreme. Witnesses were asked whether holding biblical views on marriage and human sexuality should place individuals or organizations under suspicion. The exchange sparked a broader discussion about religious freedom and whether Americans can openly express traditional faith-based beliefs without being marginalized. The debate highlighted growing tensions between cultural change and long-standing religious convictions. The hearing then shifted toward public safety and hate crimes. Lawmakers discussed violent incidents involving extremist groups and questioned whether local policies on policing and crime prevention are helping or hurting. Community safety. Witnesses repeatedly emphasized the importance of protecting civil rights and addressing the rise of hate-motivated violence across the country. The most dramatic exchange centered on a simple question: are neo-Nazis supremacists? What many expected to be a straightforward answer quickly became a lengthy and emotional back and forth. Several lawmakers expressed frustration that such a basic point had become controversial. The discussion expanded into concerns about anti-Semitism, extremist ideology, and the growing normalization of hateful rhetoric in public discourse. Before we continue, if you enjoy coverage of major congressional hearings, political debates, and breaking news, click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Toward the end of the hearing, one lawmaker delivered an emotional statement about the rise of anti-Semitism in America that he described receiving hateful messages, threats, and harassment while warning that anti-Jewish sentiment is becoming more visible in public life. Drawing on his own family's history during World War II, he argued that Americans must confront hatred before it becomes normalized. His message was clear: regardless of political differences, society must be willing to recognize and reject extremism whenever it appears. As the hearing concluded, lawmakers agreed on very little except one important point: hate and violence have no place in America. The sharp disagreements over religion, politics, and public policy revealed just how divided the country remains. But many argued that confronting extremism starts with agreeing on basic facts and standing together against hatred in all its forms. What do you think? Is America doing enough to combat hate while protecting free speech and religious freedom? Share your thoughts in the comments below.